Hello, myself Dr. Kalyani, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. In this video, I will discuss system testing. The topic learning outcome is mapped with the course outcome of CO5 and CO6, explain various testing approaches and automation tools, explain the importance of software maintenance and re-engineering process. In this video, I will discuss about various levels of testing, what is unit testing, integration testing, and more elaborately discuss about the system testing with variety of types and approaches and user acceptance test. What are various levels of testing? Testing levels are the procedure for finding the missing areas and avoiding overlapping and repetition between the development life cycle stages. The levels of software testing involve different methodologies which can be used while performing software testing. Varieties of software levels of testing are available. Majorly 4 levels of software testing are available. One is unit testing, second one integration testing, third one system testing, fourth one acceptance testing. In the unit testing, a unit is small piece of code which cannot be further divided. So the smallest part of a code that can be tested independently is called unit, and testing performed on the unit to uncover errors is generally referred as unit testing. Unit testing is the testing method used in the software development life cycle to validate that unit of the code that will behave as intended according to the specification. The functionality of the independent component of the project code, that is unit, is tested. So the tested code will produce same result every time the test is performed. Unit test comes under the technique of white box testing, and it is generally done by writing test cases that exercise individual functions, methods and classes. Unit tests are normally written in pseudo code. The advantages of unit testing are early detection of problems in the development cycle, reduces the cost, test-driven development, more frequent releases, enable easier code refactoring, defect changes which may break a design content, reduced uncertainty, documentation of system behavior. So maximum code coverage is achieved with the help of unit testing, thereby it reduces cost and increases the test-driven approach and reduces uncertainty. Popular unit testing tools are NUnit, JUnit, PHP unit, Parasoft JTest, EMMA. After unit testing of the component, the units are integrated to perform the integration test. Integration testing is a type of software testing that assesses how multiple parts of an application work together as a whole. So the independent modules are integrated to perform the integration testing. The integration testing is performed after the unit testing. So here module A is independently verified, and after verification the module B is independently verified. Module C is also independently verified. These modules are integrated as a whole in order to perform the integration testing. So the data sharing and the interfaces between the modules are the errors that are associated with these kind of communication between the modules are uncovered in case of integration testing. So, to detect the errors in the inconsistent code logic and shifting requirements, enormous data, third-party service and API integrations, inadequate exception handling, external hardware interfaces are easily detected with the help of integration testing. Popular integration testing tools are Hypertest, Catalan, Postman, Selenium, Citrus, LDRA, Protector, Jasmine, TestNG. After the integration testing, the next level of testing is system testing. So, after construction of integrating the entire modules of the project and performing after unit and integration testing, the system can be formed. Testing the whole system is generally referred as system testing. So, system testing is also known as end-to-end testing, and it is a type of software testing that verifies that system works as intended. So, the functionality and non-functional requirements of the system are verified in case of system testing. It is performed on a complete software system. After integration testing, before the acceptance testing. So, for the whole system, the required input and events are supplied in order to verify the intended output is produced or not, with the help of both functional and non-functional requirements in the case of system testing. The system testing generally used to identify the defects in the misuse of system resources, unexpected combinations of user-level data, incompatibility with the environment, unexpected use cases, missing or incorrect functionalities, the inconvenience of use. The objectives of system testing is reduces the risk. So, for bug-free components, don't always perform as well as a whole system. So, after these independent components integrated as a system, the whole system must be used to uncover the interfaces and missing functionality between various components of the system, preventing as many as defect crucial bugs as possible by careful examination. So, verifying the conformance of design, features and performance with the specification stated in the product requirements. In the requirements, not only the functionality, the security testing, performance testing, recovery testing can also be done in case of system testing. So, the non-functional requirements of the software can also be considered in case of system testing. So, validating the confidence in the system as a whole before it is moving to the final stage. So, acceptance tests that can be takes place right before users to get access to the product. The basis for the system testing is the major artifacts that can be required in order to perform system testing are the functional and non-functional software requirement specification, that is the SRS. So, based on these the requirements, the system testing can be performed. And risk analysis reports are another artifact that outline the area of risk so that team can prioritize the tasks and understand the outcome of these risks. The use cases that are described user flow during the analysis phase are the basis for the system testing. Models of the system behavior that verbally describe the process and activities of all components are involved in. And user manuals are valuable resource in order to conduct the system testing to explain how to use the software. So these are the artifacts that are more valuable in order to perform the system testing. So how to perform the system testing? First, we have to identify the test definition, what requirements, functional and non-functional requirements in order to consider for system testing, and plan the resources to carry out the test process. So what are the test planning cost as well as resources required for the testing process, whether to use manual testing or automation testing. In case of automation testing is used, what type of tools are required to completely thoroughly verify the system is planned in case of test planning. Accordingly, the test design must be carried out to write the test cases with the expected results. Whatever test cases that are designed in the previous phase of test design, those can be executed to get the actual result. In the test design, the test cases are written with the expected output. And after execution as test script, then we can get the actual result. If this actual result and expected result both are same, then the test is passed. Otherwise, the test can be failed. So, these test cases can be, with the help of automation tools, they can be converted as the test scripts. So, the results must be compared with the expected result. If both the actual and expected results are same, the tests are passed. Otherwise, the test can be failed. Those failed cases are treated as bugs. Those bugs can be reported in the bug testing, and these bugs can be fixed by following the bug life cycle. So, this is the procedure for conduction of the system testing. What are the types of system testing are? Performance testing, usability testing, load testing, regression testing, migration testing, functionality testing, scalability testing, recoverability testing. So, if you observe the types, the testing process may comprise of taking care of the functionality as well as the non-functional features of the software. What is performance testing? Performance testing is a software quality assurance practice that measures how well an application performs under specific workload. So the performance generally takes two major criteria, the response time and speed, and the space or the storage capacity. It's a key step in the validation process before releasing an application to ensure it meets real-world user requirement. So, response times, browser, pages and network response times as well as server request processing times, error rates are the major parameters that are considered in case of performance testing. Usability testing. Usability testing is a method of evaluating how easy it is for the user to interact with a digital product such as an app or web browser. So, the ease of use with the application is the major testing criteria in the usability testing. So, it is a user-centered design technique that involves observing users as they complete tasks on the product to identify potential issues and areas of improvement. So here the aesthetic feelings and the helping tips and the user manuals that are provided to the user how efficiently to interact with the application are tested in the usability testing. Load testing is another variety of system testing. In the load testing, the performance testing, a type of performance testing that measures how a software program or web application behaves under expected and peak usage condition. So, if you consider a server, how many users it can support at the maximum, the peak load can be tested in case of load testing. It is a variety of performance testing. The popular tool that can be used in order to conduct the load testing is the load runner. It is used to identify issues like slow page load times, system lag, and crashes in order to ensure that application can handle realistic load scenarios. So the verification of load or stability of the application is done in case of load testing. Regression testing is a type of software testing that verify updates to a software product do not affect the existing functionality. So it is retesting the software whether the updations or changes in the software can produce any unintended side effects. It's an important part of the software development process. It's crucial for maintaining quality and reliability. Variety of regression testing tools are available. Popular testing tools are Selenium, QTP, WinRunner, etc. The another variety of system testing is migration testing. Migration testing is also known as data migration testing. Is a process that verifies the transfer of data from the legacy system to a new system. How the data migration takes place, whether the compatibility of organization of data is verified in case of migration testing. The goal is to ensure that data is transferred correctly without compromising data integrity or disturbing business operations or lead to the data loss. The next variety of system testing is scalability testing. Scalability testing is a type of performance testing. So, it is used to assess how software application scales up or down in response to varying loads. So, this scalability testing plays the major role generally in the cloud application development. If the tasks are given or dedicated to an idle clouds, then the service time or response time performance of the cloud application can get reduced. So the task has to be moved or migrated to the quickly implementable clouds. So it's an important for application that experience fluctuating user activity levels, such as social media platforms and cloud services can majorly tested with scalability testing. Functionality testing. Functionality testing is a type of software testing that determines if the software application features work as intended. So, the measure intended output is produced or not is verified in case of functionality testing. It's a crucial step in the software development process that helps to ensure the application is ready to be released to the users. The recoverability testing is also known as disaster recovery testing, is a series of tests that evaluate system's ability to recover from failures. Whenever system crashes occur, how to recover the databases and the previous state of the system is generally verified in case of recoverability testing. So the hardware malfunctions, software crashes, and network outages are major concerns in case of recoverability testing. The goal of this testing is to ensure the system can continue functioning without losing of data. The example for the system testing, consider the Gmail application. The Gmail application generally have variety of modules like login module, compose module, draft, inbox, sent item, spam, chat, help, logout. These individual modules can be tested with the help of unit testing. Later they are integrated and perform integration level of testing. Later all the modules are comprises as the system or Gmail application, testing the whole application with the help of system testing. So here the independent functional testing on the each module is carried out and they are integrated to perform the integration testing. These are dependent, the modules are integrated so that they are dependent one on another to perform the intended functionality. And these are used to, according to the system architecture, they are integrated and the complete system is formed. So the end-to-end testing can be performed with the help of system testing. So the application is ready to use and the various module functionality can be tested by inputting sample input data and verifying its intended functionality. After system level of testing, next level of testing is the acceptance testing. Acceptance testing is the type of system testing that ensures a product meets the required specification and deliver value to its user. The value to the user is achieved when all the requirements that are specified in the SRS are fulfilled. So acceptance testing is a quality assurance process that determines to what degree an application meets end user approval. So the degree of satisfaction of the user plays the major role for performing the acceptance testing. It is conducted a kind of black box testing where the number of required users involved testing the acceptance level of testing. So user acceptance test must use to conduct, to achieve and to assess the degree of satisfaction or the requirement fulfillment must be assessed in case of acceptance testing. So the QA people are involved in order to assess the quality of the system. The importance of acceptance testing is during the development of the project, if there are changes in requirement, the change in requirement and they may not communicated effectively to the development team, those can be uncovered during this acceptance testing. Developers develop functions by examining the requirement document on their own understanding and may not understand actual requirement of the client. So there is a mismatch or there is a requirement confusion in understanding. So those defects can be easily identified with the help of acceptance testing. There is some minor errors which can be identified only when the system is used by the end user. In the actual scenarios, so to find out these minor errors, acceptance test is essential. So when the system is put into operation, the user can identify minor errors easily with the help of acceptance testing. The advantages of acceptance testing is it increases the satisfaction of clients as the test application itself. The quality criteria of the software is defined in an early phase. So the tester has already decided the testing points. It gives clear view of testing strategy. The information gathered through acceptance testing used by stakeholders to better understand the requirements of the targeted audience. It improves requirement definition as client tests the requirement definition according to their needs. Acceptance test can be performed with two approaches. One is alpha testing, second one is beta testing. The alpha testing is type of software testing that performed before a product is released to the public to identify issues and bugs. And the first end-to-end test of a product and is usually carried out by internal employees in a lab or stage environment. An alpha test is an initial opportunity to evaluate the performance and comprehensive functionality of a given product release. It can be a white box or black box testing depend on the requirement. So alpha testing must be conducted internally in the company before that is moving to the beta testing. So the levels of testing: unit testing, after integration testing, after system testing, and next acceptance testing. In the acceptance testing, two varieties, alpha testing and beta testing. So alpha testing is performed within the company in the presence of the user to validate the functionality of the application and before moving the system to the beta testing. The importance of alpha testing is it refines the software product by finding and rectifying the bugs that are not discovered through the previous test. Alpha testing allows teams to test the software in the real world environment. Here the project is put into operation and is used by the user. So in the real world environment the project is deployed. So the alpha testing team allows to test the software in the real world environment. Once the reasons to do alpha testing is to ensure the success of the software product. Alpha testing validates the quality, the functionality of the software, effectiveness of the software before it is released to the real world. The phases of the alpha testing are the two phases. First phase is initial alpha testing by the internal developers. The development team conducted this alpha testing. Next, second phase of the alpha testing is the testing of the application done by developers by the testers. So here the testing team is also involved in order to test the software. The advantages of alpha testing are it helps to gain confidence in the user while using the product. Alpha testing ensures maximum possible quality of the software before releasing the product into the market or clients for beta testing. Alpha testing reduces the delivery time of the project. It also produces better observation of software's reliability and accountability. The disadvantages of alpha testing is it does not involve in-depth testing of the software. Majorly, it is satisfying the functionality of the application. The difference between testers test the data for testing software and customers' data from their perspective may result in the discrepancy in the software functioning. The operational data as well as testing data may be different in most of the real-world scenarios. The lab environment used to simulate the real environment, but still the lab cannot furnish all the requirement for the real environment, such as multiple conditions, factors and circumstances. These are the disadvantages while performing the alpha testing. Another approach used in the acceptance testing is the beta testing. Beta testing is a type of software testing that involves small group of users trying out a product in the real world setting. So it is the last way of setting a testing, and a group of users can use the product. The goal is to identify issues, improve the product and ensure it's ready for users. So here development how system application is developed, and this application can be given to group of users and deployed into real world scenario for the usage of multiple user groups. When to perform the beta testing? All components of the product is ready to start this testing, and documentation which is going to end user should be ready. Setup, installation, usage, uninstallation, all the procedures are clearly defined. The product management team should review that functionality is in good condition. Procedure to collect bugs, feedbacks, etc. is clearly defined. The features of beta testing is testing performed by the client, stakeholder and end user. So the participants of the beta testing majorly client, stakeholder and end users. Beta testing always done after the alpha testing and before releasing the product into the market. Beta testing is a black box testing. Majorly the functionality is considered for the testing. Beta testing performs in the absence of tester and presence of real users. Beta testing generally done for testing software products like utilities, operating system and applications. The beta testing process is generally performed by the group of end users, and the process cannot execute without any strategy or the test plan. So ad hoc basis the testing process can be carried out. Before the tester, the end user executes this type of testing, and it majorly involves just planning, requirement or participant. The participants are generally the clients or end users, and release of software product, feedback collected from the users, group of users who utilized the product, and if any modification works are there, the bugs can be closed in the fifth phase. The advantage of beta testing is it focuses on customer satisfaction and it helps to reduce the risk of production failure. Beta testing helps to get direct feedback from the users, and it helps to detect defect and issues in the system which overlooked and undetected in the previous stages. Beta testing helps the user to install, test and send feedback regarding the developed software. What are the major differences between alpha testing and beta testing? The alpha testing emphasizes on company employees can perform the alpha testing. Here group of end users can perform the beta testing, and performs at the developer's site the alpha testing, performed at end user's place the beta testing. It uses both black box, white box testing techniques in the alpha testing. It uses black box testing in the beta testing. and it is carried out to testing phase when the product is 70 to 90% completed. But with 90 to 95% product completion, then only the beta testing is possible. The main goal of alpha testing is to evaluate the quality of the product. Here the goal of beta testing is to evaluate customer satisfaction, and it requires specific environment for testing in case of alpha testing, but it does not require any specific environment or customer side. The product is launched and can be made into use or put into operation. It is done before the product is launched in the market. It is done at the time of marketing of the product. These are the basic differences between two approaches of the acceptance testing, that is the alpha testing and beta testing. So in this video, I discussed about what are the levels of testing, more focused on the system testing and the types of system testing, what is user acceptance testing, and two approaches of user acceptance testing, alpha testing and beta testing. The references used in this video are listed here. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.